Hi everybody, it's Thomas here from Thomas Fitzgerald Photography, and today I'm going to be looking at scanning some film. So I have some film here. I actually shot this last year and I never actually scanned it properly. Normally when I get film processed I will get it scanned at the lab, so you get it on a CD, but the quality is never great, so I always like to scan it myself. And to do that I am using actually a very old scanner. It's about, I think it's nearly 20 years old now, and it is a Canon FS4000. So in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the process. I'm going to skip through it a bit because it's actually quite long-winded and you'd be very bored because the scanner is quite slow. But what I will do is I'll go through just kind of the basics of scanning and how I go about it and how to use a 20-year-old scanner. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I need to pick what I'm going to scan. As I said, the scanner is pretty slow, so I'm going to just scan one strip of negatives for this. Probably can't see much with that. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you have to put it into the film holder, which I have here. And one of the things that's important is to make sure you actually put it in the right way around. So basically you look at the text on the strip of film and you use that as a guide as to which is the right way around, because you always want the emulsion side facing the scanning head. So in this case it's Kodak film, so you won't be able to see that there. I'll do a close-up. It's Kodak film, so you want to be able to read the words Kodak and using the right way around on the film scanner as well. So what you do is you pop the film into the film scanner like that, and the important thing is to line it up so that it's in the right spot. So I use this kind of line in the middle here and I line the film up with that. It can be a bit tricky sometimes because the edge of the film gets caught. The important thing is not to touch it. You can use white gloves for this if you want, if you have like linen gloves, but I'm that used to this now. I know how to do it without touching the film. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is just kind of blow off any dust on it. So I use this, which is a big blower. Okay, so that's now ready to go, and I'm just going to pop this into the film scanner. Okay, so the software I'm using to record this is called ViewScan, and it is not the original software that came with the scanner, because that only worked in OS 9. They never released an OS 10 version of it. Actually, I'm not sure about that. They may have, but it only worked with earlier versions of Photoshop. Anyway, basically it's long since stopped working. So for this, this ViewScan actually works reasonably well with it. It's not brilliant, but it does the job. So all my settings are already set here. So the first thing we want to do is do a preview, and what that will do is it will scan all the frames in the film holder, and then we can select the ones we want to scan and the resolution and everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to hit the preview button. Okay, so I have the settings set, but as you can see the colors are not right. They're very green and it's clearly off. Now there's a couple of ways I can fix this. I can try and tweak the color settings in here, which never really works great. I usually like to get in the ballpark and then just fix it in Photoshop. And the other thing I need to do before scanning is actually just adjust the crop. So if we go to the last one here, I can actually rotate this as well. So that just means once it's scanned it'll be rotated properly. Okay, so again we'll go back. I can take down the green a bit, and that's probably already a bit better, but getting it exactly right is actually kind of hard. So although that is a lot better, what I'll try and do is I'll fix it a little bit here, and then we can tweak them properly in Photoshop once they're scanned. So this scanner will scan up to 4000 dpi. Unfortunately that takes forever, so for the purposes of this demonstration I'm just going to scan them at 2000, because otherwise we'll be here all day. And then I want to set the output folder. And I'm just going to put them in here, and as soon as I hit scan it will go ahead and scan all the frames. So I'm going to do that, and then we will come back once it's finished. Okay, so the scans are finished, and now what we want to do is open them up in Photoshop. Okay, so let's just fire up Photoshop. Now you could import these straight into Lightroom either and adjust them that way, but I kind of have a little workflow that I like to do in Photoshop, and also if you need to do any kind of dust or scratch or spot removal, it's kind of easier to do it in Photoshop, so that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and it's come in fairly well. There are a few issues going on here, like there's some scratches and stuff that we can fix, and but overall the color is kind of a bit off, so I want to try and fix that first. The easiest way to do this is probably with a curves adjustment, so I'm going to try that first. And I want to go with the red because I think there's still a bit too much red in it. That actually looks okay. I think we already got rid of most of the green, so I don't think the green's a problem anymore. It probably would have been fairly blue anyway, based on the kind of, it was cloudy that day, so generally that would have been kind of blue. So, and I'm not going to warm it up because it would be wrong. But the flesh tones look okay on this now, so I think we'll probably go with this. And we can just see before and after if I turn that off. It's not a huge difference, but it gets rid of that magenta cast. I can just drag this now to the other documents. I'll fix that, and then I can drag it to this one. Fix that. I mean, we'll be doing some more fixes on this as well, but just for the moment. Next thing I want to do is fix kind of any dust and scratches. So I'm just going to pick one of the images. So this is pretty good. So let's have a look at this one. So we're going to zoom in first. And there shouldn't be too much on it because the infrared scan should have fixed a lot of this, but there are a few small issues. And also, again, because the scanner is fairly old, there are some problems with it. For example, if you see this line here, that's the scanner, that's not actually on the film. It happens every now and again with it. But overall, the results are pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new merge layer. So it's Command-Option-Shift-E on the Mac. I want my spot healing brush tool. I'm going to make this nice and small, and we're just going to fix this, and then fix that, and a little bit here. I'm not going to go do a huge amount of this because this is just demonstration purposes for this video, and you might be bored stupid if I spent the whole time doing this. So we'll just go quickly over it and look for any other kind of glaring things. No, I think that's okay. I'm at 200% there, so there is 100%. And as you can see, it's pretty good. I could, if I wanted to, try and denoise this a bit. I don't think it needs it, but the whole point, obviously, of shooting film is for the grain. So kind of denoising it might seem like the wrong thing to do, but sometimes it can be a bit much. So let me just try it anyway. I'm going to use the camera raw filter for this because the denoise is best in it. So we'll just zoom to 100%, and we'll just do a little bit of luminance noise reduction. That actually works really well because it's still maintaining most of the grain. It's just taking kind of the harsh edge off it. Now, again, I know this is probably hypocrisy or heresy to some people, but I think it's needed a little bit because the grain kind of gets exaggerated a bit when you're scanning it anyway. So that's pretty much it. That is how we go about scanning film on my ridiculously old film scanner. And here's the results. I hope you found this useful. I know it's probably not something most of you will ever actually have to do. If you find these scanners on eBay, I don't recommend buying them because the bulbs can go. There's a whole rake of things that could be wrong with them, and they are fairly slow. There are still a couple of film scanners that you can get today that are brand new, and they range from reasonably inexpensive to very expensive. In my opinion, it's still better than what you will get on a lab scan, and it's probably better than what you will get in a flatbed scanner as well. So I do think they're worth it if you're going to be shooting a lot of film. I just happen to have this because back when I bought this, obviously digital cameras were only in their infancy, and I've used it a lot. So that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell button so that you will get notified when I post new videos. And thanks for watching. See you next time.